Hello and welcome to this mid-morning taste challenge. We have two 40% alcohol, 3-year age, blended Canadian whiskeys. They're both bottled in the United States. This one in Kentucky, this one in Minnesota. All right. And they're both inexpensive. This is Harwood, and I bought this big bottle, this huge plastic bottle. Yeah, well, they didn't have glass at the time, but I didn't care. It was $14.99. I bought this big plastic bottle, $14.99. It's got a pretty duck, pen and ink drawing of a duck in the marshland, a Canadian maple leaf, exceptional premium flavor. Now you see what you can get for $14.99. You don't just get flavor. No, you get exceptional. That means it stands out among many others, and it's premium, which means something, because every product I ever bought is premium. Flavor, not flavor like you'd say in Canada. No, flavor like you say in Kentucky, where this is bottled. Imported and bottled by Duncan Harwood. Ha ha ha. Yeah, right. No, really, it's Heaven Hill, and I'll put the link below. Duncan Harwood was a real company, but they went kaplooey in about 1952, something like that, and they were dead. The distillery was shut down, and it was gone with the wind. And then Seagram's resurrected it and brought it back as Harwood, not Harwoods, Harwood. And it wasn't 90.4 proof anymore. It was just 80 proof, 40% alcohol, your basic minimum. And then in 1989, they sold it to Heaven Hill, who makes it today. And I'm glad I bought it at Dorgnac's Food Center in Metairie, Louisiana, and I am so pleased with it. There you go. Here is McAdams. I bought this liter, right? It's a liter bottle, right? It's not a regular 750 glass, too. Yeah, 1 liter. This is bottled in Minnesota by Prestige Beverage Group. I don't know if they started the product, but they might have. 1987. Prestige been around a long time, but I think 1974 was when they started. But they somebody makes this for them in Canada. It is sent to Minnesota, and they bottle it there. It says every drop of this fine whiskey is made in the old world tradition of quality first. We age our premium whiskeys in the finest oak barrels. This is truly one of Canada's smoothest whiskeys. Now they're claiming this is truly one of Canada's smoothest whiskeys. And I bought this liter for $7.99. Now, you see what you can find in this world today. A liter of whiskey, not just a regular bottle, a 750. No, 25% more. A liter, 1,000 milliliters. And they say it right there on the bottle. It's right there on the label. One of the Canada's smoothest whiskeys. And they say that it's now the website says it's aged in ex-bourbon barrels for 36 months. Mellowed and aged oak. Sounds better than mellowed and used barrels. Huh? But they say it on the website, aged in ex-bourbon barrels. So let's look at the label. It's got a maple leaf held up by 2 lions wearing crowns. And then, but up on the bottleneck, McAdams it says Canadian whiskey, and it's a maple leaf on a shield held up by a lion. Oh, 2 lions, but the shield has a crown for King Charles III, King of Canada and Australia and Bermuda and Gibraltar and Jamaica, the British Virgin Islands, and the Falkland Islands, and Scotland, and the Isle of Man, etc. All right. So put that over there. All right. I think it's pretty good. I don't know about the greatest thing in the world like they claim, and but and this one, exceptional premium. I don't know about that, but it's nice. Can't argue. I don't know if people in Canada can buy this. They live in Canada. I don't know if this is even sold up there, because there's a lot of whiskeys made there that aren't sold there. It's kind of like cognac. Yeah, a lot of cognac is produced in France, but not sold in France. 90% of it is exported. I read a thing from the Cognac Association of France. They were saying, we got to get more French people to drink cognac. We make it, but our people don't want to drink it. I talked to this girl. She used to do beer reviews, but that didn't last long. And then she was doing some kind of crazy videos. Like, they had nothing to do. It was just like, I don't know what they were about. But I don't want to say her name, but they were kind of disheveled, let's call it. But I asked her one time, I said, they drank a lot of brandy and cognac in France. She said no. She told me this personally on an email. She or a message. She said no. When you go there, most people they're just drinking beer or wine. Now she lived in France for years, so she obviously knows. I know I don't know. I've never been to France. I've flown over it in a plane on the way to Gibraltar, but I've never been to France. I've been to Quebec, and they couldn't speak a lick of English when I was up there in the countryside. I was asking the lady at the register, the girl, really teenage, 20-something-year-old, maybe not that old. I said, "Well, how much are these chips?" She didn't know what I was saying. So I pointed at the register, the screen, where it shows the price. I said, "Oh." Then she did a price check. I said, "Okay." So, no English. They're both gold, so appearance won't really matter. Clear and gold. Neither one of them says a thing about flavoring added. You notice neither bottle says flavors added or coloring added. Don't have to. That's not the law. In Canada, the law is you don't have to tell if it's got flavoring or color added, unless the distributor asks for a certificate of flavorings. Then you have to send them a certificate saying, okay, these are the flavors used in the whiskey, and they can't go above 9.09% or whatever. Actually, if you look at the regulations today, they don't really say that. It says 3-year-old blended Canadian whiskey. It says a smooth whiskey to enjoy on the rocks or mix in your favorite cocktail. Notice that. They also make a light version, which is 27% alcohol. What? I don't think I want that. So they're not saying it's made to drink neat at room temperature. No, the website says it's good for mixing in cocktails or putting on the rocks, and I'm violating their protocol. I am violating their protocol. Let's see, Canadian whiskey regulations. It takes you right to the website. Canadian whiskey regulations. They get updated, from time to time. Select Club whiskey. No, I'm not going to look at their website, although it's a whiskey company. Select Club makes whiskey. Must have 40% be made of cereal grain and must be made in Canada. Yeah. You'll be amazed at how room Canadians have to stretch their whiskey making muscles. Well, it's actually true. They probably went straight to what I'm doing, the website. But here's the actual website, like I was doing in my video earlier about Sazerac mash bills, Buffalo Trace mash bills. I don't have to say, well, I heard it from somebody. I can say I heard it from Sazerac, from Buffalo Trace. They are somebody, but they're the company. So they told me what they use. Okay, Canadian whiskey, Canadian rye whiskey, or rye whiskey shall be a potable alcoholic distillate, meaning potable means you could drink it. Obtained from a mash of cereal grain or cereal grain products. Cereal grain products. That would be like corn syrup. Oh, well. Saccharified by the diastase of malt or by enzymes and fermented by the action of yeast or a mixture of yeast and other microorganisms. In other words, distilled cereal grain. Aged in small wood for not less than 3 years. Regular wood barrels, not a big vat. Possess the aroma, taste, and character generally attributed to Canadian whiskey. Whatever that's supposed to mean. Same thing for U.S. whiskey. Has to smell like whiskey. What people generally would associate with American whiskey. Be manufactured in accordance with the requirements of the excise tax and the regulations made thereunder. Excise Act. That's just rules of what a distillery is, what a rectifier is, what is a worm. What is a worm, but not what you're thinking. Be mashed, distilled, and aged in Canada. Contain not less than 40% alcohol. May contain caramel coloring and flavoring. Ooh. It says shall and may. May means you can add it if you want to, but it does not have to have it. Okay, there you go. There's some other little subsections about aging. So who's going to win? I don't know. We'll find out right now. It smells like sweet grain, namely corn and rye. What about barley? Yeah, some of that. Wheat, possible. I keep harping on this thing about bourbon. You know, bourbon and Canadian whiskey is not that different from one another, but people will swear it is, but it really isn't. You say, but bourbon is new charred oak barrels. That's true. Canadian whiskey does not have to use new charred oak barrels. That's also true. But they're allowed to. So if you took what I'm talking about, that same mash bill, corn, rye, and wheat, at least 51% corn, and you age it 3 years in a new charred oak barrel, which is totally allowed in Canada, then you would have bourbon, but you can't call it bourbon because it's not made in the United States. But essentially, it would be that. Just you couldn't call it that. You said, what if you did that in Ireland? Well, I guess you'd have bourbon, but you couldn't call it that. Bourbon is legally protected since 1964. Lyndon Johnson signed that law. Even a broken clock's right twice a day. Okay. Yeah, it smells like the same thing. Various cereal grains. What percentage do they have to use of grains? Don't say. It's up to you. Just got to be cereal grain. Okay. Time to taste. Tastes a little bland, but it tastes all right. Is it more of a cocktail whiskey? Probably. That's why they say on the website, made for on the rocks or in a cocktail. But I'm drinking it neat. Tastes fine to me. $7.99 a liter. I buy that every day. But I never saw it again like it when they stopped making it. When they stopped selling it at when it like this local Total Wine in around New Orleans, close to New Orleans. If you go in there every month, it's like every month is different. Like every month, it's like they're changing the shelves and replacing it. I mean, of course, they're going to always have Jack Daniels. They're going to always have E&J, VS Brandy. I don't mean that. But some of the stuff like these brands that are not too common, oh, that'll change every month. Every month. So if you go in there and you thinking about it, well, you better not think about it because it's not going to be there next month. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of turnover over there, aside from the standard stuff. Dorgnacks, where I bought this, Harwood, they tend to be more stable, like because they don't have the volume of business. You know, they're not like a big box store like Total Wine where they got they got a lot of business. Don't get me wrong. Dorgnacks is super popular. Okay. They even make their own Creole cream cheese. They make their own cream cheese in the store. But what I'm saying is, you might see this on the shelf in 2024 and go back in 2027 and it's still on the shelf in the same exact spot. I don't mean the same bottle, but you know what I'm saying, the same shelf position. Like they're more stable will what they have on the shelf. Oh, of course things change. They do. But it's slow. Like you used to sell passport scotch, but that went away and I never saw it again. But some of the stuff just gonna always be on there. I'm thinking that's the McAdams since 1987. Like I say, introduced 1987. Would I recommend it? I certainly would, especially for what I paid, $7.99 for a liter. This tastes about the same. A, I don't know what distillery they're coming from. B, I don't know the exact grain ratio. And C, I don't know if they're really that different one from another because they got the same specs. 40%, aged 3 years from somewhere in Canada. That leaves a lot of possibilities open, doesn't it? So if you look at the price per ounce, the Harwood is a little bit more expensive by about 57 cents. So really, by tasting these two products, I would have to go with I'll just go whatever's cheaper, really. I'll tell you the truth. They both claiming to be great, but we know how that goes. But you say, what if it was 25-cent difference? I'll just I'll save a quarter. Buy some gum, chewing gum. I don't chew gum, but you know what I'm saying. No, I mean, it's a tie in flavor. It's a tie in quality. And you may as well just save the money and buy whatever one is cheaper. And either way, you're not going wrong. So you win and you win. It's a double approach conflict. It's a double approach conflict. I meant to say a double approach. What it means is you can approach this and you win. There's no downside. You say, well, I got to buy it. That's a downside. It's not really a downside because you have to buy products, okay? So we don't consider that a downside. So on the upside, it's all good. Over here, it's all good. Double approach because you're approaching two different products. You're approaching this one, you're approaching that one. You're in the store. Which one should I buy? You say, oh, well, this one's $7.99 a liter, and this one's $8.56 a liter, $8.57 a liter, let's say, which you probably never see that price. Usually it's always 99, right? But or 49. But sometimes you get these weird prices like 8.57. So let's say that, and then I'll go with McAdams. I would pick McAdams, not because it tastes better, because it's cheaper. Simple story. End of story. And I'm not even sure I can tell them apart. Well, I'll try again. There is no way you will make me believe this got flavoring added to it. I'll not believe it. I won't believe it. That tastes like pure cereal grains. Tastes like pure whiskey. Okay, so I just do not believe they have flavoring added. I can't say that for sure because I don't know, but I don't believe it. Harwood, I'm assuming this is Harwood now. I'm trying to, you say you're trying to stall the video, huh? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do to get the winner. There's no way. I just don't see it. I cannot see that they're adding flavoring to this. It's got too much authentic flavor. It just tastes like cereal grain. Now, I don't mind the flavor they add to the Sazerac products, which to me tastes like wine, almost like they're adding like a sherry wine to it, like the Caliber Canadian whiskey or the doggone Rich and Rare. It's like they're adding a sherry wine. Hey, I like sherry, so that's fine with me. It's Asian wood also, so either way, it's fine. But some people take issue with that, like, no, I want it pure. I don't want flavoring. Okay, all right. So these taste like pure. Now, as far as coloring, they're very pale. I mean, why would you? I mean, why would you add coloring and just get this the palest looking yellow gold? I mean, that's probably just from the barrel action. 3 years. They said they aged 3 years. So people slag on Canadian whiskey. Like that's like one of the biggest whipping dogs on the internet. You watch videos. It's like this kind of like conniption, this obsession or whatever it is to go and attack Canadian whiskey. Like, it's terrible. I hate it. And I'm not saying it. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you right now. I've been drinking these things now since what, 2016 or 17 or something. I don't see it. I don't see it. If I saw it, I would tell you. If I saw the problem, I would tell you. I'll say, oh yeah, I see the problem with that. I'm gonna tell you right now. Let me get right down with it. But I don't see the problem. To me, this is me talking, not you or other people. To me, Canadian blended whiskey is just as good as American bourbon. It's not the same, but it kind of is the same, but it's not the same. But there's a lot of great flavors. There's a lot of adventures you could have, flavor adventures you could have with these Canadian whiskeys. I don't understand why you would want to limit yourself. They got people do videos talking about, well, they got video channels. I only do bourbon. Okay, but I'm saying why though? But why? But why? Now, if they said to me, well, I just want to concentrate on that. That's what I want to focus on. Okay, that's fine. Still in all, I still don't understand that. Like, why would you want to concentrate on that? It's like you would say, well, I'm only eating seafood. I'm only going to eat seafood. Yeah, but you could try pork. You could try beef. You could try lamb. You could try mutton, which is adult, sheep. You could try rabbit. I don't really like that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you could try so many other things, but you got this fixation. You're going to only try seafood. I just think it's limiting yourself. You're limiting yourself. I don't think you have to be extreme, like, oh, I'm going to try extreme products. I don't mean that. But, like, why? Like, why do that? Why not try Canadian whiskey and then try Irish whiskey? You can try Scotch whiskey, blended or single malt. That's another argument. Some people are all caught up in that. Try American rye whiskey. You could try American bourbon whiskey, blended whiskey. Like, why are you limiting yourself? I don't see it. I don't understand it. I cannot go along with it. Okay, which is which? I think this is the Harwood, but it's so close. It's the McAdams. Oh, now I got 4 losses, 4 defeats, but they were all nearly identical. Look at the 4 videos. It's like the same product and 2 different labels, really. So disgusting, though, to get it wrong. So aggravating. Now I got 40 Creek coming up to close it out Friday. Yeah.